What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're ready to, what are we getting ready to? I hope you're ready to get something grounded. Hope you're ready to do some kind of improvement there. The moon is in Capricorn. This is a great day for really setting some long-term plans. You know, we're really gonna get cooking with here. I got some really cool ideas with this energy. Got some downloads that were coming through. But before we jump into that, if we haven't met before, my name is Justin, and just know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. But this is also a channel for those of you who have Cancer in your placement. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Saturn, wherever, Cancer. This one's for you. Or if you just want to sync up with the moon, get familiar with her cycles, really start setting those manifestations, getting into this really kind of intention place. You know, it's really powerful when we sync up with the group here. This is for you too. And I do tarot card spreads based on our ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going void of courses, all those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, sidebar, I'm trying to figure out where to move this mic. There's no real comfortable place yet I can find. Let's jump into it. You know, nature my problem. All right, Cancer, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here. And depending on when you're watching this, Cancer, happy Jupiter Day. Jupiter is associated with Thursdays, and this is a great day for, Jupiter's about affirming and expansion. This is a great day to just be feeling like, and especially with Jupiter being in Gemini, even though he's in his detriment here in Gemini, he may not be the abundance may not be feeling like it regularly is coming in, when Jupiter comes and brings in that jolly energy, but there's still things to celebrate. I feel like this is seeing that, remembering that there are two sides to every coin with Gemini, that life does have this duality, and that things will change, that things, especially if you've been feeling kind of in a bit of a low, that things do improve again. The tides always balance out. Sometimes, it can take a little time. And, when we're finding in those times, we can work with this moon in Capricorn. That could be a great way to kind of help weather this storm. Let's talk about this moon in Capricorn. If that's something that's coming up for you. But, we got a lot of, the energies are kind of building up this week. So this would be a great time to, while we're talking about this, I just did a video for talking about the energies for the week. I'll include a link or a video at the end of it. Too, I've been doing some investing in my skills there. I'm starting to figure out how to post things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can my partner's just like, it's amazing that when you listen to me and you try these different things on YouTube, how you YouTube can really work for you, huh? And I was just like, I think you mean good job, Justin. You're doing great. But the moon, let's talk about the good old moon. She's going to be entering into Capricorn at about 10:50 a.m. and that's going to be Pacific time, and she is in a waxing gibbous phase. And now the waxing gibbous, I really like this phase because this is where, things are really starting to, the moon is really getting pregnant with life. This is where you can really start seeing some seeds kind of coming through, some ideas coming as far as like what you wanted to set for this new moon, how you wanted to proceed going maybe in the rest of this month, maybe for the next 6 months, maybe the next 9 months, however you're working with the moon. I find that the gibbous is just a great time for where things are accelerating. The moon would just be past the trine period when she was in Sagittarius, but now it's like, how do we take that energy from Sagittarius and really kind of ground that, set that into some sort of long-term type of thing? And I feel like a waxing gibbous in Capricorn, this could promise something of long-term, this could promise something of commitment. Capricorn is one that when they start, that's that cardinal earth energy. But it's a tricky energy because the moon is in her fall, or she's not in her fall. She's she's in her whole detriment in Capricorn, and what that means is just that the moon has a harder time expressing herself. The moon is how we nourish ourselves emotionally, physically. So she may have a harder time doing those things. You may, I find with the moon in Capricorn, working with her in, I feel like with these 27-month periods can be really great markers for you. I actually have a buddy whose son is in Capricorn, and he's like, I'm going to plant some avocado trees, and they take like some 40 years or something to grow. They take a long time, but I'm like, that's very Capricorn. When you set these kind of like sort of like goals, and you're starting to see the seeds of your growth, those relationship with those things matter. It gives you this sense of responsibility. But I think the moon can be a bit uncomfortable here, is because she's having to nourish something outside of herself. She's not there. She's no longer the focus here. And you want to be mindful too, the things with Capricorn, the things that you start up, they do have consequences, and they do have these. And we're not talking consequences, I don't mean that in a negative connotation. I mean, there's going to be a whole experience that comes with it, from the relationships that you form, from the business things that you start up, from the teachers that you decide to learn from, that you've learned from. Those have these sort of long-term effects here. And so when we're thinking about Capricorn, with the moon in Capricorn, we're wanting to kind of take a minute and kind of evaluate the things. What have we been nourishing? How has that been serving me? Has this been working in the long run? With Capricorn, in the Thema Mundi chart, they are located in the 7th house, interestingly enough, which is the house of marriage, the house of your conditions of old life. It can be it can be the house of, like, think of like your contracts, business contracts, like I was saying, teachers, in this, when you're thinking about those things, even when you're thinking about marriage, for example, it was thought that you were going to have a good life if you married well, but this is looking at the things that you've invested in as well, because it's like, you don't want to think about just the relationships, how they're benefiting you, but how are you benefiting your relationships? What are you, because, you can say that you've married well, but can the other person say that about you? That's something to kind of look at yourself. Capricorn reminds us to see what we're actually bringing to the table, when we're going with this. We both are going in on this idea, whether this be a relationship, whether this be you starting up a project. Maybe you have this business that you're wanting to start up. How have I been tending to it? How have I been nourishing? Have I been investing? Do I need an accountant? Capricorn's a reminder too that we can't do things by ourselves. We can have these really grand ideas, but it takes a village, especially the views that Capricorn is trying to build. And this is a great time, I feel, when the moon is here, especially while Saturn is in Pisces right now, to really be kind of nourishing these dreams, especially with Saturn retrograde, his energy is a little weaker here. And I know that you can see that as Saturn may be a bit more restricted, be a bit more strict, but I like to think that Saturn, his energy is weaker, or the planet's energies are weaker when they're retrograde. So really his kind of that malefic energy is, whether it be, of course, so that's going to depend on where he's showing up in your house. There's no boundaries with Saturn. So one, you could really get some really great progress if you're being really smart about this. But the thing is, when Saturn goes direct again, you'll see how have I been responsible with my gifts or not. Maybe you decided to take out a bunch of credit card debt, but maybe that wasn't the wisest thing, because now we have something happens with your car, and now you're needing that money, and now we're kind of in a bind. So Saturn, and I feel like Capricorn and the moon and Capricorn just teaches us again the sense of responsibility, and just like, where are we putting our energies? Where are those things supporting us for the long haul? Are we supporting those things for the long haul? Where are some contracts that are needing to be reviewed? Is this relationship working? Is this idea working? Is this, whatever this thing, when I'm thinking about 50 years from now, how is this going to look? Am I going to look back at these things and say that, yeah, this was worth it. Yeah, this is how I viewed this thing when I started this thing up here. Saturn, where he can be a malefic, Saturn, he he's the practical side of it. He's the rules in this realm, but if you follow those rules, which he really doesn't set a whole lot to, I mean, of course we have, but even when you think about it, the houses, there are 12 themes of life. Something, wherever we're going through in life, tends to fall in those 12 themes, So there's a bit of, even in there's a structure. Saturn is always a ring, even thinking about Saturn. So with this moon, and in this moon, this is kind of a lighter moon period right now. The moon is only going to be forming 2 aspects while she's going through the sign in Capricorn. And so take this time to kind of allow yourself the grace in the period to kind of see like, oh, okay, maybe this hasn't been working. Maybe it's time to change this. Maybe I need to go this way. Maybe I need to do this thing. Oh, maybe I need to pull back, whatever this evaluation period is. And if you have your moon in Capricorn, Moon and Capricorns, I find they just come in with this sense of responsibility. And I don't mean by in just setting a business in whatever they're doing. I've been friends with my very first friend. We've been friends it'll probably be about 30 years now. And both of our sun signs are both in Cancer. And yeah, and he's a Capricorn moon. He's had this plan in his head. I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z. And great guy, family man, just doing the thing. Just doing the things that he said he was going to do. There's this follow through. But I find that with Capricorn moons, you do want to make sure that you can be so taking care of the other thing that you do forget to check back in. You want to make sure that, is this still resonating with me? And understand that it is okay to change your mind, and that your life is not going to be totally derailed if you have to pivot. Cancer, the beautiful thing about Cancer being, the moon being Cancer's ruler, is that we have to kind of go with the flow. The moon, but there is a flow. It's not just random. The moon gives us this time where we can correct things, where we can get into a different type of cycle. It works a bit quickly, I feel, for Cancer when we get into our flow, for the Cancer frequency. And I feel like for a Capricorn moon, the way to work with your moon, again, is having some sort of like things that you're tending to, whether this is that avocado tree that you're planting, or this could be maybe I want to be able to own the place that I'm living in X amount of years, or maybe I want to be in this position at this time, or I want to, just having those goals can keep your moon motivated. And then you can break the cycles down. You can set your stuff month by month, and that way having that sense of order and finding people, invest in yourself. Capricorn moons, invest in yourself. Everyone should, I think benefits investing in themselves, but, finding those teachers that can really help add that value to you so that you can bring more so you have more to leverage in your relationships as well. It can bring so much more richness. Or this could even be in your relationships. How can you both include, maybe you want to tackle a health endeavor together. Maybe one person is wanting to lose some weight, so you start working out together. It may not be your focus, but you're like, what, I'm here to support you, because we're here as a team, whatever that might look like. Capricorn energy can be very beautiful. It's not just all hard work. It's rewarding work that Capricorn provides you. So if you have this moon in Capricorn, those would be some ways that I would invite you to kind of work with your moon placement, and that you're not alone in this. I feel like there's this emphasis sometimes with Capricorn that they have to do things by themselves. And yes, you do need to know yourself. That doesn't stop, but that doesn't mean you have to take that the weight of the world is not on your shoulders. You do have people who can help you and who want to help you. So that could be something to affirm yourself with. Now, with the void of course is going to be happening on a Venus day at about 8:16 on the 16th of August it'll start at about 5:48 p.m. It'll go on until the 17th of August, and that'll be on a Saturn day at about 2:44 p.m. So we're looking at about a 20-hour, 56-minute void of course there. And the void of course is when the moon forms her final aspect with the celestial body and she goes void of course. And keep in mind, when I'm doing the void of course track and I'm working with just the traditional planets, and also keep that in mind, when you're working with me, I do keep in mind of the outer planets as well. But I just find that the traditional planets helps really give you they're the planets that we could see with the eye. And I find that they help give us a grounded sense, kind of an approachable sense to the chart. And the outer planets is more of the psychological things that you work with you and your higher self. When we take these collective moves or these individual moves, then collectively these parts start to shine up. So that's just a little sidebar there. But the void, of course, is, they call it canadromia in the olden days. It's like where the moon is roaming the void. And she's reflecting on her time as the moon in Capricorn. What are some highlights that she took from that? What did she learn from this thing? The void, of course, moon can be a time where it's not a time of starting things up, but a time of finishing things, of wrapping things up. So let's say if you did want to start up something and it came up during the void of course moon, sit with it, write it down, and see how you feel about it when we get to this next energy in Aquarius. Because the moon tends to, sometimes when you start things up with the void of course, the energy tends to just kind of fizzle out. You don't care for it as much, so that's just something to kind of work with. A great time for getting rest, for taking some moments for deep breathing, and just finding some mindfulness in this, in these kind of, especially with where this at, because we do have a busy chart with the full moon that's coming up. We've been in these, like these energies have been approaching these T-squares for a while. I think when I'm speaking, this Mars and Saturn would have just had their square. Actually, yes, this would be happening today. I want to say it's happening on a Jupiter day. So we're just now having that first exact coming to fruition. And so then we're having a little bit of a break until Sunday and Monday. So just some things, take some time, regulate your energy, take care. But also too, be thinking about, as far as like where you're ready to change some things, where some things could improve, where you're ready to maybe start some things up, because the aspect that she's forming is a sextile with that Saturn retrograde, and the aspect usually flavors that void of course period of time. And when we're thinking about sextiles, those are excitable energy. They're creating this opportunity here. I like to think of those as they have more of a Venus flavor to it. So these are things you can start, you get to feel excited about something, you start attracting things your way. This could be where opportunities present themselves to you, whether this be in the form of an idea, whether this be maybe in the form of a loan possibly, or maybe a partnership, or maybe some sort of mentorship, or whatever this looks like. This could create an opening for that there. So just some things to think about with this energy. And yeah, if you're wanting to know how these energies are working more closely with you, you can join me for my moon group, the Lunar Mansion. The signups for that are open now. The actual group is going to be happening on September 2nd. That's going to be a moon day. So I have various time slots that are open, so feel free to sign up for that. And if you have any questions about what are included with that group, it's a lunar intention group. We're expanding, we're growing. There is a link down there to book a free consultation with me. Feel free to answer any questions for me, and I will be happy, or ask any questions. I'll be happy to ask that, to find out what would be the most appropriate service that I could offer for you. So looking forward to working with you. Hopefully to kick it with the Lunar Mansion, because once you're in it, you're in it for life. I'm a ride or die type. But last little thing here, enough of that. Oh, before we get into this thing, now that I'm gonna, because I made it a point, I've been wanting to include a little bit of just bringing some good vibes in before we get into the reading. So just your volume, I'm just gonna ring this bell here. We're gonna welcome in the energy, just kind of clear the vibes up, and then get into this thing. So let's do it. All right. Love it. All right, let's get into this thing. All right, look at this. Got this gold. Wait, what is this? This golden orange dragon here. Love that. Oh, and look at this. Expand your light for ascension. And this is a card of be a peaceful warrior. Help those in need. Remember your magnificence. And I really dig that. Because here's the thing. When I'm thinking about Capricorn, when we're forming these relationships, we're not doing stuff necessarily because we want something from the person. You know what I mean? There's a mutual beneficial thing that's happening here. We're forming this contract. And what I feel like this helped those in need, I feel like it's those things that when you never know you never know who you're talking to. So I would be mindful of just like any conversations, the sextile and with Saturn here, maybe an opportunity comes up that you may need to sleep on, an opportunity that expands your life. But it's like be thinking about where this is going to go. Is this the route that you're wanting to take here? But even this kind of this peaceful warrior here, what I'm kind of getting here is this energy of like a remember. Interesting. What are the words? Remember. It's like remember that first impressions. They have a lasting. It's hard to make a strong second impression. And not that you need to be on guard all the time, but there's something here about. I'm partly getting a manipulation energy here. This could be where you're needing to rise above where someone may think maybe maybe you're in a relationship where they think that they're providing such value to you that they're this greatest thing since like sliced bread, but you're kind of past this point. You're like, what? I'm tired of feeding into this energy here. This is no longer leading to my light of ascension here. If anything, is kind of dragging me down. And if I stay in this thing long term, remember your magnificence. There's something, with Saturn will teach you too to respect yourself. Saturn will Saturn will look at you like, have some dignity. Like, no, you're better than that. Like, is this really where you want to stay around? I feel like the energies are having us look at things that do you really want to take this into your future? Is this, you see this dragon writing this book here? You're writing this book, and once it's published, that's it. It's out there, and people are seeing that. And so I feel like, what do you want to write in your book? This peaceful warrior here. I'm getting a rise above energy too. I feel like this could be where someone's trying to bring you down into something, trying to keep you in this pot. This could be a work situation. And this doesn't even have to be necessarily something toxic, but Capricorn is the devil. We do want to keep that in mind too. That's a devil card energy. But let's get some tarot on this. Let me get some details with this. Oh, a lot of swords here. Well, like two. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, a lot of swords. Okay, so, and a Hierophant. So you have the Hierophant and the King of Swords upright. Then you have the Five of Swords and the Knight of Swords in reverse. Now, the Knight of Swords for me is Aquarius energy, and I feel like that's fixed air. And so I feel like it's like, one, remembering that your words have long-term impact. And I feel that even it's not just your words, but pay attention to what people are telling you too. I feel like that's a very good glimpse as far as what you can expect from them. I feel like people will kind of tell about themselves, kind of early on. This could be where, maybe you're getting into like a friendship, a business partnership, a relationship, and, we're just kind of playing the field at first. Maybe there's this, we're seeing, it's one thing for people to change over time, of course, but I don't know, just kind of pay attention to, I feel like I'm getting almost like a fair weather friend energy here with the Knight of Swords. That's very fascinating, because the Five of Swords, is this more Aquarius energy here. This one though is, if I'm remembering, that's Mercury in Aquarius. So with this Five of Swords, I do feel like there's this thing of kind of rising even above, like, I feel with Capricorn sometimes we can get told, or get taught a certain truth, and we could think that that's a truth and really kind of get set in a way here. But that's where I feel like Capricorn needs to kind of check in and review their contracts every so often. This is where, you kind of set, because Capricorn, when I do feel like Capricorn energy, again, when it commits, it's committing for a long time. Saturn's going to, ensure that. But I feel like there's something here with making sure that this, whatever we're investing in, is expanding from your light. The King of Swords knows his truth. The King of Swords is very discerning. He sees through the BS. He sees those who kind of after look at where there's been like maybe empty promises, and this could even be where even promises with ourselves, where we've told ourselves we were going to do something, but now you're kind of holding yourself accountable here. Maybe I even feel with like this Knight of Swords, that could be another thing that's coming up. But the Hierophant that's coming through here. The Hierophant is a very traditional energy, and I'm getting even just kind of looking at this key here. There's something here about that. It's staying with what you know. Let me get a little bit more with this Hierophant here. Let me see if I can, let me try to find the words with that. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so the Hierophant is clarified by the by the Strength card and the Ten of Wands here. Okay, so this gives me with the Hierophant. The Hierophant can be a card of marriages, can be a card of commitments. When we're talking about, usually there's like a Pope that's on like the red or white deck I'm thinking about. And maybe I feel like this is Ten of Wands here. It's like being mindful of the burdens that you take on of others. And that this is Saturn and Sagittarius, and how you could be feeding your energies into something so much that it's like it's sapping your strength. It's sapping your vitality here. And remember your magnificence here. Look at this peacock. I was just kind of looking at that while I was shuffling here. Remember your brilliance. Remember your royalty here. And I feel like it's treating yourself as such, but knowing it's. But I do feel that's interesting too. I'm even getting. I was thinking about that with Capricorn too. Time does not equate quality. I could look back at my friend that I've known 30 years, and we've had maybe one or two little like where we've had to like talk, and like I have a very quality friendship in that. I know that I can talk with him, I can express my concerns, and vice versa, and that we could work something out, that it's not just gonna go out, but it feels like there's a shared level of the burden, in a sense, of a relationship, because it is a burden when you're deciding when you're looking outside of yourself. That takes extra effort, and I'm not saying a burden as a bad thing, but it's an extra thing that's taxing on. So you want to make sure there's that reciprocity that's happening there. But is there something like, is it quality? Is there something like, maybe we've known each other 30 years and there's nothing to show for it, I might need to call that. It might be, I need, or at least just kind of have a conversation. Like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? If there was that sort of like ambiguity that was there, or there's, or there wasn't that desire for that. So, maybe you're feeling sort of stuck here with the Ten of Wands, or excuse me, with the Ten. Well, yeah, Ten of Wands is here, but with the Hierophant in something, and it's like, maybe you're, just think about these things. It has long-term ramifications for both you and this person, and so you could be just whether we can take this however this may fit into your situation, but this could even be too where, let's get a little bit more on this before I go on to this. You know what? And this could be too. Maybe someone doesn't see something. And I know, keep in mind, you can't force people to do things. But I feel where if I saw a friend that was in a relationship that was not boding well for either of them, if it was, if it just wasn't boding well, it's just like, hey, just as I feel like there's safety involved. You have these kids. If that were the case, so it's like there's one thing to kind of like, oh, I don't want to rock the boat, but it's another thing when there's like, that's like help those in need. I feel like and if they're not ready to hear something, then we have to respect that. But hold on, let me get the. Okay. Thanks, Vanessa. Let me see what else is going on here. Okay, so you have the 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Swords, and the Knight of Wands upright. Then you have the 10 of Cups and the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the 10 of Cups here, that's Mars in Pisces. And I feel like it's like, I'm thinking about, it's like, how do you keep an energy flowing? How do you keep something, you had this dream, you had this wish, and maybe it didn't manifest like you thought it would. So now what? Now what do we do here? There's this anxiety here. There's this fear with the 9 of Swords. It's just like, oh gosh, now, maybe you went to invest in a house, and now maybe there's like all these problems, and it's just like, well, what am I going to do? Maybe you need to, this 9 of Pentacles here, there is this independence with the 9 of Pentacles, but that doesn't mean to your detriment. You know what I mean? This is Venus in, it's interesting. Venus is in Virgo right now. Maybe you try to attract something and it may just been a little bit more than you could chew. This 8 of Pentacles, a little more work than you thought it was going to be, but that doesn't have to be a problem. You see this for what it is, you recognize this thing. So the 9 of Wands, we reach out to a friend, maybe we can find a way to get some sort of loan, maybe we can find some sort of support, maybe we can find something. Maybe we can even find people like handy people who can maybe help you with this, and then maybe you can reach down the line, you help those in need, kind of come just telling it as it is, feelings, truth goes a long way, and I feel like people are more willing to help than we think, and there are more resources out there than we think here. Is what I'm kind of getting with this energy. Now, this 9 of Wands, even too here, I almost feel like there's a time, or not that there's a time, but it almost feels like that there's something here that you can. This help those in need could be like, it's almost like this 9 of Wands is rushing to show its gift, to show that it's got this. It's like, not necessarily hurry to write your book, but start writing your book. Help those in need, help people from your experiences. And this could lead to this state of quality here, something along with this 9 of Pentacles. This is pre-Empress energy here. You're attracting some sort of abundance here, but maybe there's this anxiety, this fear about it. Maybe you're just not certain about the dream, but I feel that, remember your magnificence, remember your peacock, your brilliance here. So let's get a little advice from Saturn. Okay. Thanks, Divine Self. Last little bit here. So you actually really love this card. You have the King of Pentacles in reverse here, and then you have the 3 of Cups and the 5 of Wands. And let's switch back over. I do love the King of Pentacles. This is such a really, there's just so much abundance that is going on around him, and I feel with this abundance, with the King of Pentacles, this is me. This is giving me this energy of afraid of doing something out of lack with the King of Pentacles. And if you find yourself afraid that maybe like resources won't come back or something, like I'm not quite sure what this could be. There's something that help those in need, I feel, can help. Being a service can help bring about a sense of perspective. I actually heard, speaking of perspective, I actually heard something or read something not too long ago, where it's like money should be sent off with great intentions, with affirmations, and with well wishes. Thank you for being here to like to pay my rent, for you to be able to pay for groceries, to be able to do X, to be able to do this and that. I'll see you soon, and that you're gonna come back and then come back and bring your friends, bring your cups, bring all your friends, bring your friends, they friends, they mama's friends. But I do feel this Three of Cups here is seeing those who are maybe taken from your abundance, because look at again, this King of Cups has so much. I love this King of Cups, has so much to offer here. And you want to make sure that, are the people around you, Three of Cups, making you feel abundant, or does the energy feel kind of just kind of twirled around here? Do you feel that you just are kind of distracted with just kind of everyone else's things, that you're not able to really kind of, again, focus on your abundance, be able to provide for yourself and tend to your ascension? So, it's when you ascend, we all ascend. This is a team effort here with the Three of Cups being here. All right, but I think that's all I got for you here. So if anything resonated with you, if you like that, give it a thumbs up and share this if you know someone who could receive some help with this. And then subscribe there, you King of Pentacles. Hit that bell button to get notified on all these videos each day. And then last little bit here, if you want to know about what's going on in the weekly forecast and just curious about that, come over to my other channel, The Alchemist 8. And I also do videos there where I talk about different planetary placements. That's been actually really fun. I'm getting ready to do probably another one here, in a minute. So that's going to be fun. But all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here so I can get you out of here. All right. Thanks myself. Let's see. Oh, interesting. All right, look at your stack of money. You got the pile of cash. You got the all that glitters card here, and that's interesting. That's 16 card. That's Tower energy, but. Well, and maybe there's some changes. Maybe some towers are getting ready to get dropped, and I don't feel like in an aggressive way. It's just like maybe just might be making some changes. Maybe, and when I even say changes in relationships, that does not again automatically mean breakup. That was something that I had a situation where a contract ended. A contract felt like the other party felt like it needed to be ended, and I was just like, okay, and. That's sometimes I feel, sometimes the other contracts do their thing. Other times it can just be like, we need to do a revision. Like, hey, my needs have changed a little bit. Are you cool with that? How have your needs changed? This can be an invitation, like, this is what I'm feeling. How are you feeling in this? Are there any things that I can do for you in this? This could be like a team. Look at this mask. It's got two masks on here. So this is like, this could be a team, team change that's happening, or, again, it can be, and even with the Three of Cups, this is harmonious. So we just got to figure out how to work it out, how to work with these new needs, new things. And all that glitters can keep being gold. This doesn't have to be fool's gold. This can be, all that glitters can be abundance, but I do feel that it is looking, though, with those masks, of course, and just, I feel like you've known this for a while, and I feel like this is just like, this gives me like a boundaries thing with Saturn being kind of in Pisces, that It's not other people's responsibility to uphold your boundaries. It's, it's yours. I don't live in your house. I don't have to tend to your house. You have to tend to your house. But you don't let me come into your house and do any, and be in, and act any which way. Like that's something where I feel like sometimes, all that glitters, check, maybe in that instance, all that glitters, check if it's gold. Let's just check the gold. Is this still gold, or have we lost just some of our luster here? So, and I love that it comes with this golden orange dragon. So, love how the energies always tie up together. But just some things to meditate on. But until the next one, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof. Seize the day and the night. And I will catch you. Keep eyes on the moon. On the next one, Saturn Day.